Hi, Ralph here. One of the questions I get asked most frequently about our hibiscus tea is, why is ours a little more expensive than the competing brands? That's difficult to convey over the internet, but I hope that by doing a small video, I can give you a sense of the quality difference. So what I've done is I've purchased the top-selling brand of hibiscus from Amazon.com, and I'm going to open a bag of theirs and a bag of ours today and let you see the difference. So this is the competing brand. As you can see, the bag is a little bit thin and it's not resealable. I think for a bag this size, that's a mistake because the thinner bag doesn't protect the tea as well, and once it's open, it's going to lose its freshness very quickly. But let's open the bag and see what's inside. Oops. Okay. So here we go. That's what it looks like. As you can see, it's what the industry calls cut and sifted. What cut and sifted means is when the flowers are, the most number of flowers in the field are blooming, they basically mow them down with a big hedge trimmer, pull out the green bits, and then sift it through a thing to remove the smallest pieces, and this is what you get left. Now, that difference in process has more impact on the quality of your teas than you might think. And the differences are this. First of all, just the process itself gives you more chance of contaminants being in your tea. Second, the flowers don't all bloom at the same time. So to save money, they want to mow the whole field at once. And some of the flowers will be already spent, some will be just right, and some will have just started to bloom. They mow them all down at the same time. And that means that the individual blooms have a great variation in terms of their potency and their freshness. And the last thing is, when you mill or cut any tea, you greatly increase the surface area of the tea, which means that it's more vulnerable to oxidation, and greater vulnerability to oxidation means that your tea just doesn't stay fresh as long. And that's really important, especially for these big companies, because they buy container loads of this tea at once, and sometimes they store it in warehouses for years. So you want to be able to keep it as fresh as long as possible. Now let's take a look at our tea. As you can see, it's a much thicker bag. Hopefully you can see that on the internet. And it's resealable. I'm going to open ours. Open the lock. It's a 3-layer bag, so there is foil on the inside and then a polymer in between, and then the foil on the outside that's printed on. We're going to pour the tea out. And I hope you can immediately see the difference here. These are whole blooms that have been carefully dried. We grow our hibiscus on the slopes of Mount Ime in Sichuan province, and it's a community cooperative. And they watch the field, and when each bloom comes into its maximum, they go into the field and start harvesting by hand. And we dry them carefully to make sure they stay intact. So you've got whole blooms versus cut and sifted. And yes, that process of hand picking and drying carefully by hand means that our teas are a little bit more expensive, but it also means for you as a consumer that your tea is more potent, more fresh, and tastes better. I hope that helps explain some of the difference in the price and the quality of our teas versus the competing brands. Thanks for listening.